my name is Professor Nigel, and this is Champion Hill. Champion Hill is Call of Duty Vanguard's version of Gunfight, taken to a little bit of an extreme. They definitely changed up how this works, and I personally really love it. Now, you can play Champion Hill in solos, duos, or trios. That was what was available during the beta, so I'm assuming during the full game, or if you're watching this after the full game has launched, that's essentially what's going to be offered. I don't know if it's going to kind of be like the past Call of Duties where only solos or duos are open and then it switches to duos and trios and you kind of have to play whatever's available. I'm hoping they just give you the ability to play whenever you want, but I guess that's to be seen, or honestly, most of you guys will probably know, as you'll probably be seeing this once this game comes out. But this was all captured during the beta, and I personally really loved it. I just wanted to give you guys a rundown of how the game works, some of the tips and tricks I picked up, so whether you didn't get a chance to play it during the beta, or you're just starting out playing it once the full game has launched, you kind of know what's going on, and you know what to look out for. So first and foremost, the biggest change is that there are now buy stations, and you're not playing the same person over and over and over again in rounds. It is switched up. It's almost like a tournament, but it's not kind of elimination where whoever wins the match is just out for the rest of the game. You have a certain amount of lives, and until those lives are gone, you keep playing and you keep getting thrown back into matches. So in solos, you have 6 lives. I think in duos and trios, you just end up having 6 lives for each teammate, and each teammate, their lives are kind of tied to themselves, so as long as you're not dying, you're not losing any of your own lives. I only played duos once or twice, so I'm not sure if that's going to change or that's the way it's going to stick around, but you are responsible for your own lives. It's not just kind of like a group set of lives. To my knowledge, it doesn't really matter if you win or lose matches. Obviously, if you're losing more lives than you're taking from other players, you're probably going to be going out soon. But it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Maybe you get a little bit of a cash bonus or something for winning the match. So that kind of segues into the other aspect of this, the buy stations and the fact that you get cash. So kind of very similar to Warzone, there's cash scattered around the map, and you also get cash for taking out opponents. I think it's about $100 a kill. I think it might be $500 if you get first blood, or maybe that's just the XP. I think there might be a little bit of a cash bonus, though, for taking your opponent out first. So obviously, once you rack up enough cash, you can do 2 things with that. You can rank up your weapons by pressing right on the D-pad or whatever button you've kind of binded it to on a keyboard for PC, or you can spend it at the various buy stations. Now, there are more than a few buy stations, one for weapons, where obviously you can buy different weapons, and this is another thing that I'm not going to be 100% sure on. In the beta, they switched it up between 2 sets of weapons. There was one time where I played where you started off with, I believe, an MP40, and then there was an STG that you were able to buy, and it was a whole separate list of weapons. The more common setup that I saw from the buy station was the Thompson, as well as the Bar, and the DP28. There were some other weapons scattered in there. The ones that I personally really liked was using the Thompson as well as the DP27, it's actually called. Personally, the Bar, especially after upgrading it, I don't really like the sight. Of course, all these things could kind of change. I don't know if in the full game you'll be able to kind of customize what gets upgraded and what doesn't, but it's really, really easy to upgrade your weapon, and you don't have to upgrade your weapon in the buy round or anything like that. You can upgrade your weapon right in the middle of a round. So you go, you pick up some cash from the ground, you have enough, you can actually upgrade your weapon right then and there in the match. And I highly recommend actually upgrading your weapon. It's not too much of a problem with the Thompson. The Thompson's pretty good. However, with the STG, I really would recommend ranking it up a ton. You can end up getting incendiary rounds for some of your weapons, particularly the STG, and it is an absolute beast. I definitely recommend throwing some upgrades on your weapons. It's very, very helpful. And also, in the case of if you have this particular setup where you're starting off with the Thompson, the DP27 is there. I'd take that over any other gun. It's an LMG. It has really good range. And when you're starting off with an SMG, you want something that can kind of shoot maybe across the map. These maps, despite being set up for 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s, are still somewhat sizable. It's not super, super small. So, you know, occasionally a little ranged weapon doesn't hurt. And again, personally for me, I didn't really care for the bar. I think the sight that got put on it made it super inaccurate. So definitely don't bother with that. In terms of the other buy stations, there are 3 others. One for perks, where you can get a series of perks such as Ghost, which I highly recommend, Heiler, Tracker, among others. I think those were the biggest ones that I personally loved, as well as one that gave you immunity to stuns and flashes. That's something I also recommend getting later on in the game. There's also, besides one for perks, there is one for support, which allows you to buy armor, spy planes, different kill streaks. Personally, the only things I usually bought were armor, spy planes, and the ability to actually buy an extra life for $3,000. Anything other than that, the V2 rocket, the flame knot, although I did see them used against me and they were somewhat helpful, unless you're going into the last round 1v1 on someone and you actually have just a ton of cash to spare, it doesn't really help too much outside of the one round that you actually use it in. Same thing for the spy plane. The spy plane usually only lasts one round, maybe a little bit into the second, but just keep that in mind when you're buying some of the support and kill streaks and stuff like that. And the last is the equipment buy station, which allows you to buy different types of grenades, flash grenades, mines, gas bombs, all that sort of stuff. So those are the buy stations. Really, I enjoy that setup a lot more than just getting random class setups and random weapons. Although that was fun and a great introduction for Modern Warfare and Cold War, I think this is a really good mix-up for Vanguard. Keeps it fresh, and I think it's really interesting. In terms of how you actually want to play, obviously it's up to you, whatever, you know, feels most comfortable, but if I can give you some tips, definitely play a little bit more conservatively. This isn't regular gunfight where you're just kind of playing the same team over and over again. You're gonna get mixed up. Sometimes you'll be playing the better player in the lobby, sometimes you won't. But when it really comes down to it, what really matters is you keeping a healthy amount of lives. You don't want to lose all your lives in the first 1 or 2 rounds and then be stuck with 1 life when you're playing the guy who has 5 or 6 lives. Definitely take your time. It's a numerous amount of rounds in between that and going back to the buy station, and also it's a ton of matches and stuff like that. You're going to be playing, again, as I'm saying, a lot of people, and you don't want to, you know, go out and blow your load in the first round or 2. When it really comes down to it, you need to be in this for the long haul if you're going for the victory, and knowing when to back down if you've got 1 life and playing a slow round is sometimes what you have to do. Obviously, when you actually are in the match, you're taking people out, there's 2 or 3 things to really look out for. 1, your opponent's lives. If you actually take out an opponent, which means they're at 0 lives, and then you kill them, it'll kind of give you a congratulations, you eliminated the enemy. Definitely go ahead, run up to the enemy's dead body, collect their cash, number 1, because it will drop all their remaining cash that they had, so you can utilize that, as well as they will drop their weapons. So if they bought a weapon early on and they ranked it up a ton, you could go ahead and pick up their weapon, and it will give you their weapon even if you didn't rank your gun up to that rank. So essentially it'll give you their ranked up DP27 if they happen to buy that in the first round, or their super kitted out Thompson or something like that. So definitely keep that in mind. You can pick up your enemy's weapons once you actually finally eliminate them from the game completely. If you're just taking a life off of them, they're going to drop a little bit of cash as well as an armor plate. So it does help to be up close and personal and taking people out, you know, running around with the SMG rather than across the map, because you'll be able to pick up some armor and that'll help you in the next gunfight. The other thing to keep in mind is every new match there is a scattered life token that you can pick up during the match. Now if your opponent picks it up, it's done. You can't pick it up. There is no more life token. It's pretty competitive on who gets the life token. If you take out your opponent first, I would definitely recommend trying to be somewhere near the center of the map or in a position where you can go get that life token. Or sometimes, I've done it a couple times, if someone is low on lives and you don't want them to get that life, just running and taking the token, like in this situation where my opponent has 0 lives and you don't want him to get back up to 1, you can go ahead and run up and take the life token right out from under him. He won't be able to get it, and he'll still be at 0 lives. Even if he gets you, you're still back at the lives you started out with, and it takes away the ability for him to actually pick up a life. So again, things to keep in mind: ranking up your weapons, the buy station, hoarding some cash, definitely for the late game, and also paying attention to your lives. There's a lot to take in, a lot more to account for than regular gunfight, I would say, but I think that's what makes this a lot more entertaining than traditional gunfight. Another thing to keep in mind, which I find is pretty interesting, the center buy station is visible, or the maps are visible to the center buy station. You can actually look out onto your opponent's matches, especially sometimes when it gets late in the game. There's 3 people left. One person will get a bonus buy round, and that allows you to buy while the other 2 people are playing, and that kind of gives you the ability to look out onto the match that they're playing, see the playstyle of your opponents, and I think that's another thing to keep in mind. Other than this, guys, those are kind of the basics, the basic tips and tricks to get you through how Champion Hill works, and also the things to look out for. Definitely prioritize keeping your lives, getting to the end game, keeping it late, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. This is definitely a lot slower of a game, especially if you're going for the victory. But very, very entertaining and rewarding once you get your first few dubs. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If this helped you, if there's any other tips and tricks that you would like to point out that I didn't mention, throw them out in the comments. I'm sure there might be some changes. Maybe there will be an update video if there's enough changes once the full game has actually launched, or if I find any more tips and tricks. But in the meantime, guys, good luck in Champion Hill. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. What's going on, guys? So this is actually my first win, or at least my first win that was actually recorded. For some reason my capture software kind of gave out, and even though I recorded my first win, which was just before this one, it cut that one out and the first little bit of this second win. So my first 2 times playing this game were actually back-to-back wins, which I thought was pretty good. But I wanted to walk you through kind of what I was going through, what I was thinking. I had my mic on, but I didn't realize I had it on, so I wasn't really talking through exactly what I was doing. So I thought I'd just kind of provide some commentary, what I was thinking while I was running through these different rounds, and kind of late game management. So this is about halfway through the game. I've got about 3 lives. And right now all I'm thinking about is ranking up my STG and also seeing if I can get the life token that's right in the middle. So obviously I take first blood, so the life token's right there. It takes a few seconds for people to respawn, so I know I'm safe for a few seconds. I can run into the center of the map, I can go get that extra life, and then after that I use the cash that I've gotten and picked up off of the ground to rank up my STG a little bit more. So this guy spawned on the other side of the map again. He was able to get up pretty quickly into the center of the map. It goes really, really quick, especially when it's just 1v1. It's very hard to tell sometimes where people spawn and where exactly they are once you've killed them and you're kind of trying to reset. So I'm going pretty slow there. I don't want to lose a stupid life right at the end. I know I picked up the extra life token. I know that was already a win. I took a life off the opponent. I got a life back. And in that case, especially in the last few seconds, I knew I had taken 2 lives off of him. So I didn't want to go out too aggressive. Coming back into the buy rounds, I get a spy plane. I refill up my armor, and then I've got some extra cash. So I go ahead and I spend some on some perks. So I already had picked up Ghost earlier in the game. That is always the first perk that I went for. And then I went for High Alerts and Tracker. These are 2 really solid options. I think the only other perk that I'd probably go for if I wasn't trying to conserve cash for other areas of the game would be the one, I think it's called Survival Training in this game, which gives you some resistance to the stun flash grenades. So I'm going into the second map. I realize that this guy has very quickly gone for the life token that sits at the top of that tower right there. I know I get stunned here, so survival training might not have been that bad of an idea. I somehow get the hipfire kill there, and I'm sitting back. I know he's already taken the life token, so there's no going for that. He's on 0 lives. It's 1 more life. And he stupidly, for some reason, decides that he wants to come out and challenge me again, even though I have 4 lives, and he's on his last life. So I went ahead, took him out. You get the rest of the time after you've fully eliminated a team to run around the map. So whether you want to go check out the weapons that he's actually picked up, like I do here, he kind of breaks out his MP40, but I've got the STG. I don't really need an MP40. So I decide against it. The other thing that you can do is you can run around the map and pick up the rest of the cash or whatever life tokens are left. Anything that's left on the map is yours for the taking after, kind of that game ends. Again, this guy goes for the life. He's low on lives, so he goes right for the life token. I can understand that mentality. When I've got a lot of lives and my opponent has a very few amount of lives, I don't make it a necessity to go after the life token. I'd probably do what they did right there and take the life token just so the opposing team couldn't get it. And then I can kind of, get a read for where they're going. This guy somehow lasers me through the wooden stuff. There's apparently some pretty good bullet penetration with the STG. I get a little bit of a high alert there, so I know he's to my left. And I know I got to take this one slow. I've got 3 lives. He's got 1. There's no reason that I need to waste some lives and just kind of run out into the open. I get kind of lucky there. I kind of see him running to the left. He doesn't see me, and I'm able to cut him off and take him out. So again, he's down to no lives. I'd taken him out twice. I didn't need to go after anything, and also there was only a few seconds left in that game anyway, so no point in wasting further lives or running out into the center of the map trying to get eager. This is a scenario where I get an extra buy round. There's only 3 teams left, and the two other teams are playing each other, and I get to kind of sit back and go into my own buy round, prepare for the hopeful final match, since the one of the teams has pretty much no lives and they don't get the extra rest in terms of buy. So he gets eliminated, and now it's 4 lives versus 4 lives, playing the good old TTV guy. And of course there's another buy round, so once it's just down to the final 2 teams, there's always a buy round. Lets the other opposing person who's just played around get in and buy whatever they need. Unfortunately, just because they eliminated a team, they were able to go ahead and, I believe, buy another life in this one, or they usually have the option to, especially when you eliminate an opposing person, you get all their cash. So it's very likely that people will go and buy another life. In this scenario, he actually didn't buy another life. He probably didn't have enough. It is pretty expensive. It's, I think, $3,000 to buy an extra life from the buy station. So Definitely a little bit expensive. Because this was only my second game, I wasn't too, worried about immediately going for the life in the middle. I think because this was my second game, I wasn't 100% sure where it was. In most maps, it's just in the center of the map. That's really usually a good rule of thumb. So I was able to take him out. His incendiary rounds, actually, though, in that particular instance, took me out, even though I had killed him. His incendiary rounds did the rest of the job. And then I was able to get 2 quick kills on him, and he was now down a life. I really got some favorable spawns. I'm not really sure what happened there. I mean, I feel like I was hitting him upper chest, head, in that terms of a gunfight. So then it just becomes kind of level terms again. This is really, just a very, very quick final round. I think they give you 2 minutes for the final round when it's just a 1v1, or maybe it's a minute 30 or something like that. I know it's extra time. However, when the match time does run out, you just end up going back to the buy station, and then it just throws you into another 1v1 on a different map. So, there's no, running down the clock really when it comes down to it. I mean, you're just going to end up facing the same guy no matter what happens. Unfortunately, I think I knew where he was. I don't know why I wasn't looking to my right. I think on the radar there might have been like a blip or whatever, and I just somehow missed it. But again, he just keeps getting me down to level terms. I don't know if he was like running low on armor or something, but I feel like in these later rounds, I was taking him out pretty quickly. He was very, very aggressive. I definitely don't recommend being that aggressive, especially when you have no lives, and I think I had an extra life at that point. But that's the talk through. That's my second win, my first recorded win. I hope you guys enjoy that. Hope it helped for you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see more of this commentary or anything like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.